Hey, Pascal from Orangepixel here. I'm not torturing anybody. I'm actually working on adding new sound effects to the game. So I'm going through a lot of screams and shouts and grunts and all those things. Bought a new library for that. It comes with like 20 different characters, male, female, all ages from teenagers till 70-year-old, I think. So I'm now looking for the right sounds to add to the game. So don't worry, I'm not torturing anybody. I'm just doing game development. Did a lot of stuff this week. Gonna talk about that after the intro. While I'll torture a few, while I'll listen to a few other sound effects. Alright, sound effects. It's always a lot of fun. These sound effects actually have a purpose and a goal to make it all clear to the player what's happening. There's going to be a lot of action on the screen, and using these sound effects, you should eventually, after playing it for a bit, understand what's happening. So there will be sound effects that will tell you that you or your teammates are being hurt, and then there are very different, distinct sound effects that will tell you people are dropping around you, and those are enemies, and that's a good thing. It's been a lot of fun working on this, and it really lifts up the game a little bit more. It also cost money. I bought this library, I think it was like a little over $100. And now I'm also spending money this week on the musician. We're gonna do one longer track for the game right now, so that I can actually create a demo version of the game and maybe create a good trailer with all that music, and then we'll start adding more music after that. But right now, funding and all that stuff, I have to make sure that I do the right thing first. Also, artwork is being made, marketing material type stuff, so I can actually start promoting this game and maybe do a Kickstarter, things like that. So lots of money is going out right now, but it's all hopefully to create a better game in the end. And of course, this library of sound effects can be used in all my other games. Right now, the last 3 or 4 games I made all use the same type of grunts. You might have noticed it if you play them. I think I stretched that sound effect to the max, so I needed a couple of new ones. And this also has female voices and female grunts. I didn't have a lot of those. And one of the games I want to make is Groundskeeper 3, and that has a female hero. So these type of sounds will get a great place in that game as well. But most of my games will need some sort of pain or grunts and things like that. But there's a lot of other sound effects in this library that I can use, and it's always good to have a bunch of options. So that's sound effects. Besides the sound effects, I also added a new type of doors to the buildings. We now have doors that are locked with a mechanism, and those doors were pretty easy to implement. They just mostly are a visual change from the other doors, and they don't respond well to destruction or whatever, opening doors, things like that. These will only open if you have a key card. So adding this door also meant I had to add a key card to the game, and that meant I had to create some sort of inventory for the player. So I set up all those systems. The player now has an inventory. Not sure if we're gonna do an inventory screen right now. My aim is to have items there, but they will be automatically used at the right spot. So you don't need to select them or use them or drop them or anything. You'll have a bag and you have stuff in there, but it will be automatically used. Hopefully that is possible. I'm not sure yet, but so far it works. We now have an inventory. We have a whole system that will place a key card. So as a level designer, you'll be able to place this key card in one of the rooms, and then the level, as it loads in and the game will process that, will notice this room needs a key card. It will first try to find an enemy, and it will place a key card on that enemy. If it can't find an enemy, it will check all the furniture in the room and hide it in some of the furniture. If it can't place it in the furniture either, it will just drop it at the spot that the level designer picked. This has the bonus and the advantage that as a level designer you can now decide, well, we're gonna place this key card in a completely different room, and then it doesn't have to be near the door, but as a level designer you will know that the player can reach this certain room first. There he can pick up this key card, and then he has to move back through the hallway, back to the other room to open that door. things like that will be able to be designed. And it still will be random because we're picking a random enemy in that room or a random piece of furniture. So the player will always have to search and find that keycard somewhere in the room. You eventually will know, all right, this building, I know it. There will be a keycard in that room. I just need to find it in that room. But there's still gonna be a little bit of randomness to all of this level design stuff. So keycards, and of course, once that system was set up, there are now also safe codes or codes for the safe, not safe codes, but code for the safe. There will be safes that you need to crack or open. For that you need the code, and that code will now also be placed somewhere in that room. So new system up for inventory and items. Of course, it's possible that your teammate picks up the key code or the safe code. So when you're walking up to a safe, but you don't have the code, but one of your teammates does, that teammate will come towards that safe to help you out, and he will open up the safe. And as a bonus, it really adds that whole team spirit to what I wanted in this game. You're a team, you're not just one guy running around or a girl. You are really part of a team, and that whole team has to work together to do these missions. I also improved the weapon sprites, the images used for the weapons. I made them a little bit bigger so that I can do more with details in there, but they're also more visible in the game. I also improved how the weapons are rendered around the main game character, so it was all a bit funky, and of course it's a weird system, but a lot of twin stick shooters these days use it like this. It's floating on top of your body, but it should still be able to float on the right side and on the left side and all that stuff. It's improved now, much improved, and that also meant I had to upgrade or create a whole weapon system, which is now also improved. So we now can have many different weapons, including knives. When you're sneaking up on an enemy, you will swap your weapon for a knife. And this opens up the question what I'm gonna do with the weapons. I don't really know yet, but obviously we're now gonna be able to do a lot of different and various weapons. So I want to add those to the game. I think you're gonna be able to pick 1 or 2 weapons at the start of a game or start of a mission, and maybe pick up weapons as you go along, as enemies drop them, or maybe you can find them in spots here and there. And I think that's going to be interesting. I'm just going to try that. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, I need to come up with another idea and scratch all the code I made for this. But right now we have some cool weapons. And along those weapons, I also improved the visibility of your bullets. The difference between your bullets and enemy bullets is more visible. The red bullets are enemies, the green, yellow bullets are yours. Your bullets actually fly a little bit faster than the enemy bullets, so it's easier to step aside and duck away, which I think just improves the game and makes it more fun and more skill based. Also added some light to the bullets so that you can see them fly even in dark areas. And just for the fun of it, there will be little shells dropping out of you everywhere when you're shooting, and out of everybody who shoots, which just is a lot of tiny little debris, but it adds a lot of life to the game, and it just looks cool. With these bigger weapons, they were pretty much covering up the whole body of the main team. So the main team has now gotten an upgrade. They now have bigger bodies. It adds to the visibility for the player. These are the main characters. You're gonna be looking at them for the most of the time, but also because they're always on screen. So they have bigger bodies, more visible. The weapons just fit better, and it just looks a lot better, I think, for now. I'm still gonna tweak them probably. I'm not sure about the colors yet. And maybe I'm gonna make different variations for different type of characters in the game. But we'll see. For now, these are the new bodies. It all just looks a little bit more visual and more clear, I think. And speaking of characters, on the character select screen, I added the settings that pretty much dictate how your team operates. This is still a little bit in development, work in progress. I'm not fully done with it because these settings are, I'm trying to create settings that are very clear to the player, but underneath they are changing a bunch of variables and things for the AI. So I'm trying to compress a bunch of different settings into just a handful of settings that the player can understand and tweak. and that you will actually notice a difference. And you do notice a difference right now. Some of these characters will have a team that's very aggressive, very focused on taking down the enemy. Others will be much more laid back, staying with you as a main player and the main character, and only split up when it's really possible. And by tweaking these things, you can just modify how the game plays and how your team operates around you. This is probably gonna be on other screens as well, because this is a great way to just start your game. But I can imagine that once you're in a game, you want to still modify these settings just a tiny bit. And of course you want to be able to save them and store them as your default settings for whenever you're gonna play again. So there's still some work to be done there, but first I just need to figure out if these are the settings I want, if I need a few more, or if I can do with a few less. All work in progress. Pretty cool improvement to the game done this week. And those are pretty much the highlights for my week working on Regulator City. Like I said, music is being made. I'm kind of expecting it today or tomorrow, maybe Monday. So hopefully next week I'll be able to let you hear some music. We'll see. It's always very hard for me to find the right music. I don't do the music myself, so I need to communicate to my musician the type of music I want. And usually that's a mix of examples, other games or videos or movies, and I want something like this with a certain feeling, and I add some keywords for the game, and hopefully the end result is something that I like. Don't know yet, we'll see. Rob, who did the music on Residual, is also doing the music on this game. On Residual it was mostly background ambient noise, but for this we're gonna go full arcade mode. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And also the artwork is being made right now. We'll see how that turns out. Again, it's mostly me telling I want this type of art, and it has to have this type of feeling, and hope the artist aligns with that vision and comes up with something that I like. Some art, music is being made, sound effects are being put in, all working towards probably a Kickstarter, but that's gonna be a talk for another video. Still waiting on some publishers, contacted a few. Most of that has been a no-go. So far, I think 2 or 3 publishers came back with a no, which is hard. But again, I'm gonna talk about that in another video. I'm pretty happy with where the game is right now, so that gives me a lot of energy to keep going. And I have a couple of other ideas for how to get this game onto the market as big as possible. I'm gonna be talking to a marketing agency or 2. So lots of stuff happening behind the scenes, and eventually when I know stuff, I will talk about it on this channel. For now, this was just a devlog, lots of work done this week. And if you're a patron, go grab a copy of the game right now and let me know what you think. Drop in the Discord, like, subscribe, comment below, and make sure to watch next week, as we'll dive more into the game, and hopefully with music and maybe some art. And bye.